So we already said productivity means output divided by input. So your level of production, what you're able to produce. So if it's increasing, it means it's good for the business. And productivity can increase not only when you have to increase the numbers of workers, it can also increase when you are able to use few resources for more output. It's also productivity. So there's efficiency in productivity too. So what are the benefits of increasing efficiency or productivity? Number one, reduce inputs needed for the same output level. So if there's productivity, it means you're going to use few resources to produce the output because there's efficiency now. So you are going to use less resources, just like labor. For the cost, we're talking about productivity. So we said productivity is about the level of output. And if productivity is increasing, it's good for firms because it allows firms to remain competitive. And productivity can not only increase when you are increasing the numbers of workers, it can also increase if you are efficient in the cost of production. So what are the benefits of productivity? One, reduced inputs needed for the same level of output. So what they're saying here is that if there's productivity, it means the business will use less resources to produce that output, which is a good thing for the business. Two, lower cost per unit, that's per unit average cost. So if there's productivity and efficiency, your cost per unit would reduce because now you might be using, like workers, might be using 5 workers to produce 100 outputs before now. And if there's productivity, if the productivity of workers are increasing, the labor productivity of workers are increasing, 5 workers might produce 130. So the cost of each unit has reduced. That is what productivity or efficiency will bring about. The third one, fewer workers may be needed, possibly leading to lower wage cost. So because there's productivity, you might need few workers, which reduces the wage rate, the wage cost for the firms. That means cost of production is reducing. That is good for the firm because profit will increase. Higher wages might now be paid to workers, which increases motivation. As a result of efficiency and increase in productivity, you are using less resources for more output, and your cost of production has fallen drastically. That allows you to pay more to your workers. And paying more to your workers could motivate them. And what good does that do? It increases productivity again. So firms, if workers are motivated as a result of increasing their payment, it increases their output. So it's a win-win for firms if productivity is increasing. I think it's clear.
Yes.
So that's all about productivity and the benefits. We go to why businesses hold inventories or stocks. Have you ever gone into a shop and found it has run out? It has run out of what you wanted? If so, then the shop might have had higher sales than usual, or else its delivery of supplies might have been late. To ensure that there is always enough inventory to satisfy demand, inventory levels must be carefully controlled. So what they are saying here is that business must control their inventory. If not, customers become disappointed. So in 2 ways, it might be because sales increase unusually, like it's not usual, like they never predicted that sales will increase and sales increased. Yes. Or they were waiting for supplies and the supply never came. Yes. Do you get the point you're making here? So customers need to be satisfied, like they said, customers need to be satisfied. And the only way they can get satisfied is whenever they enter that shop, yes, whatever they look out for, they find it. If not, they feel disappointed. Yeah. That's the point. So to ensure that there's always enough inventory to satisfy demand, inventory levels must be carefully controlled. So we need to carefully control our inventory system by making orders as soon as possible. Or yeah, that's the best thing. And making sure that the order comes promptly. Because you might not know, anything could happen. Sales might just increase that you never expected. So as a business, you have to always make a plan ahead. Like, oh, sales might just increase. And if sales increases, do we have enough inventory to meet up with the demand of customers or not? So that's the point there. So inventory can take various forms. Inventory can take various forms, including raw materials, components, partly finished goods, or finished products ready for delivery. It can even include inventory of spare parts for machinery in case of breakdowns. Holding inventories allow a business to maintain production and satisfy customer demand quickly. So the main purpose of holding onto inventory is that it allows you to meet up with customer demand as soon as possible. I think it's clear. So when inventories get to a certain point, reorder point, they will be reordered so that when the delivery is made to bring inventories back up to the maximum level again. So as soon as inventory is you feel like, oh, the shelf is becoming empty, you make a reorder. So when you make a reorder, it puts the inventory back to the maximum it used to be. So it won't be as if something has left the shop. So the business must reorder before inventories get too low to allow time for the goods to be delivered. If inventory levels get too low, they might actually run out if there's an unexpected high demand for the goods. If too high a level of inventory is held, then this costs a lot of money. The business has to put to better use. The following graphs demonstrate how inventory levels can be managed. So the first thing is there's inventory control. Businesses, you have to put in mind that businesses can the inventory can reduce in firms or in businesses based on the fact that an unexpected demand increases or the supply became delayed. So that's why we don't have inventory. So it is good for the business to be able to keep inventory, to hold on to inventory. Why? Because it meets up with the needs and wants of customers. That's the point. So how are you going to be able to do this? By making the order before the inventory gets too low.
I feel like it's getting
too low there, you make reorder. Okay. So if you don't make much reorder too, because if you are making too much, it becomes a cost for you because you will be spending the money that you'll be spending on that should have been used for other things.
Yes.
So that is that's the opportunity cost of getting more inventory
Just
over.
Just bring the same amount as you bought lately, and that's it.
No, it might still be the same amount, but the point is that if you are making so much order that you don't need, the money would have been better used for something else.
Trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. So the inventory levels amount to inventory order. Okay, so we have the inventory level, which is the maximum the maximum and the minimum there. Then you have the time taken. So you need to understand the time taken, the time at which you'll be expecting it. Lead time. When we talk about lead time, we're talking about the time at which, no matter what happens, inventory must get back to you. Yeah. That's the lead time. So, and the last one is the buffer inventory, the minimum. That's where you are keeping your stocks. Do you have a buffer for it or not? So if your buffer, what you are keeping at a buffer is getting low, it means you are running out of stock. There's nothing you could do then to make a order as soon as possible.
Yes.
Because that is the only place you can go back to when you don't have anything in the shop. And if that one is getting low, then the business is having a problem about stock. Yeah, they will be losing customers to competitors. So effectively managing inventory levels is very important to all types of businesses, especially manufacturing and retail businesses. So, okay. So we'll go to lean production. That's production method. Are you there? Yes. So for lean production covers a variety of techniques used by businesses to cut down on waste of resources, including time and therefore increase efficiency. So lean production is just about how you can cut down the use of resources to reduce waste to the minimum you can. That is what lean production is about. So lean production brings about cutting down the use of resources to increase efficiency. Do you get it? Okay. You want to reduce waste as minimum as possible. Okay. And when you are reducing this waste, or when you are reducing the use of resources, it must lead to efficiency. Okay. Do you get it? Yes. So it aims to reduce the time it takes for a product to be developed and become available for the shop to sell. Lean production cuts out any activity which do not add value for the customer, and this can apply to services as well. So for lean production, it wants to take away everything that you know that is in operation that does not add value to that operation. They want to take it away. So that is what they say. That's why they mean taking away all resources that are not needed. They want to cut it. They want to only use things that are going to be effective and add value for production. So there are several types of waste that can occur in production. We have overproduction, which is producing goods before they are being ordered by customers. So you are producing more goods before the order of customers. So it's going to be overproduced. Waiting, when goods are not moving or being processed in any way, waste is occurring. When you continue to wait, the goods are not moving.
Yes.
They are stagnant. It's a cost because it's a cost on the space it's being the space it's taking.
Yes.
So it is a waste of resources. Transportation, moving goods around unnecessarily causes waste and is not adding value to the product. Goods may also be damaged when they are being moved around. Yeah. So when you continue to move goods around to find customers, it's a waste of time. And not only a waste of time, goods could get spots on transit. Yes. Unnecessary inventory. If there's too much inventory, then this takes up space. They get in the way of production and cost money. So yes, when you keep hold on into inventories, it's a waste of time and waste of space and waste of money. Yes. Motion, any actions including bending or stretching movements of the body of the employee waste times. So it may also be a health and safety risk for the employee. This also applies to the movement of machines, which may not be necessary. Motion is about stretching. Instead of them to be walking, they are stretching, they are moving for nothing. Oh. It's a waste of time.
Okay, yeah. Them doing nothing.
Yeah, sometimes employees, they would need to move machines that they don't even have to move. The machine can be there and use it there, but they want to move it to waste time. So wasting of time, it's also inefficiency. Do you understand? We're talking about different types of waste here. Do you get it? Yeah. So that's another one. Over-processing. If complex machinery is being used to perform simple tasks, then this is wasteful. What you can just use the hand to do, you are using machines to do it. It's a waste because that machine will count as usage. Then you have to pay more for maintenance.
Simple things.
Defects. Any faults require the goods being fixed, and time can be wasted inspecting the product. So if the product is faulty, you might have to even redo it.
Product.
Yeah, if it's faulty, it becomes a waste. Nobody's going to buy a faulty product. Okay. It becomes a waste, which is not good for the business also.
Okay.
It's a waste. Yes. Do you understand waste there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go to benefits of lean production. So for the benefit of lean production, one, costs are saved through one. One thing is this: whenever we talk about lean production, we take away all things that will not add value to our production settings. So that means when we take all these things away, cost is reduced. Yes. Because waste is a cost. And this has been taken away, so cost reduced. So if cost is reduced, what happens? One, less storage of raw materials or components. So because we are able to, we took away all those things that are affecting, that are not adding value. When we do that, it means that we are able to keep space. We don't have to keep raw materials or components anymore. We don't have to, because they are not useful. We only use what are important at this present time. So that's what they said, less storage of raw materials or components. You don't keep them because you don't need them. Do you get it? Yes. So you are able to save, you are able to reduce cost because you don't keep raw materials and components anymore.
Waiting, the issue.
Yeah, the waiting is not there anymore. Yes. Two, quicker production of goods and services, because you want to produce as soon as you have the raw materials. You don't want to keep save. You don't have a storage anymore. Because you don't have a storage, it means whatever you want to produce, you get the raw materials and you make them available. You produce them immediately. So that's another way. That means you have to be quick in your production process. Yes. You don't need to repair defects or provide a replacement service for a dissatisfied customer. So because the products are not faulty anymore, so it means you are not redoing the product, or you are not not reproducing alone. You are not reproducing the product and recreating. Yeah, you're not recreating a product. Yeah. So it's just done. Yeah. You are using your equipment in a better way because there's efficiency. Mm-hmm. You won't be using machines or equipment when they are not needed. So that's what they're saying there. Cutting out some processes which speed up production. So your production process will increase because now you have taken away those things that are not adding value. Yeah. So production process will increase and speed. Less money tied up in inventories. You are not keeping stocks. You are not holding on into inventories, because when you hold inventories, you are holding money. You are keeping money down. The money that should be better used for something else. It's not going to be there anymore.
Mm.
Health and safety, leading to less time off work due to injury. So there's not going to be bending and stretching.
Mm.
Health procedures will be taken care of. So workers will have a decent time at work, so they won't get sick, that they will have to take sick leave. So they'll always be present at work, which is good for the business.
Yeah.
Reduced costs can lead to lower prices for customers, businesses being more competitive and possibly also increase profits. Lean production can be achieved by using the following method. So for lean production, it's a production method, but to achieve them, we can use casing, just in time, or self-production. But before I go into that, so one thing is this: when you are able to cut costs, the business will be able to reduce its price, will be able to be competitive, and will make profit.
Yeah.
So to achieve all this, we can use casing, which is a Japanese word, and we can use just in time, and we can use self-production. So for casing, it means continuous improvement. So we start. So since lean production is just a way of reducing cost as much as you can and making sure that everything that does not add value to your production line or to your production setup is taken away. So to achieve lean production, we have 3 ways to achieve lean production. We have casing, we have self-production, and just in time.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with casing. For casing, it means a Japanese word for continuous improvement.
Yeah.
So here, casing means continuous improvement in Japanese, and it focuses on the elimination of waste. The improvement does not come from investing in new technology or equipment, but through the ideas of the workers themselves. So smaller group of here, when you invest on equipment or machinery, just want, that is not continuous improvement. That is improvement already, because technology will change things. Yeah. But here, you are depending on workers to improve on what they used to do. That is what casing is about. So it's basically on the workers to improve step by step. That is about casing. Okay. Do you understand? So it relies on workers improving their skills, their know-how steadily. Yes. Do you understand? So casing eliminates waste, yet it gets rid of large amounts of inventory or reducing the amounts taken. So let's just go down. So for casing, it's about workers getting better in what they do. So what are the advantages of casing? One, it increases increased productivity. Yeah, because it's about the workers. For 5 workers used to produce 10 outputs. Now 5 workers are producing 15 outputs or more than 20. So that is what increased productivity is about. Reduce the amount of space needed for the production process. So it means workers now don't need to waste resources. Resources are there. They have taken away all things that would delay them or that would not add value, like keeping stocks, wasting time. They don't want to waste time anymore. So they would not need more space. They wouldn't need to even buy warehouse or more space to keep stocks, because stocks are not going to be left behind. They only use stocks that are available. Yes. Do you get the point there? Yeah. So the third one, work in progress is reduced. So work in progress, you don't have to keep products. Oh, it takes time to, we need to produce a pen. So now we have the ink. Oh, we have the cover. No, there's nothing like work in progress anymore. It will reduce because you don't want to waste time based on the fact that there's increased productivity. Yes. So workers are doing better. So the time that it takes them to do things becomes faster than it used to be. So there will be less work in progress. Do you know what work in progress is? Mm-hmm. The time at which you need to put things together to become a finished good. That is work in progress. Yes. So that will not be there anymore. Improved layout of the factory floor may allow some jobs to be combined, thereby freeing up employees to carry out some other jobs in the factory. Because it's casing, so now we wouldn't need to, those spaces we use to keep things, those spaces that we use for keeping equipment or machine, we don't use them anymore. So there are more spaces for people to engage themselves in. Yes. Because it relies on people, not machine. Yes. Do you understand? So more space for employees to carry out their tasks. So we'll go to just in time. For just in time, JIT is a production method which focuses on reducing or virtually eliminating the need to hold inventories of raw materials or components, and on reducing work in progress and inventories of the finished products. So for just in time, the products will be used, the raw materials or components will be ordered for as soon as they need them. So it's eliminating holding resources, holding stocks. So when we need to make a product, we make the order. That's it. So we don't keep stocks. We don't keep inventories. That's about just in time.
Yes.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
All this reduces the cost of holding inventories as no raw materials and components are ordered to keep in the warehouse just in case they are needed. So there's not like, oh, just in case we need products. No. All raw materials or components will only be ordered for when they need to be used. So you don't need a warehouse. So the cost of warehouse is eliminated. So warehouse space is not needed, again, reducing costs. So you don't need a warehouse. So you don't need the space in the warehouse. So you might use your warehouse, if you have one, to do other things. The third one, the finished product is sold quickly, and so money will come back to the business more quickly, helping its cash flow. Because we call it just in time, it would have meant that we only produce when it is needed. So when it is needed, we produce, then we get our money immediately, cash inflow.
Yes.
You get it?
Yeah.
Cell production. So for cell production is where the production line is divided into separate self-contained units, each making an identifiable part of the finished product instead of having a flow or mass production line. So this method of production improves the morale of the employees, makes them work harder so they become more efficient. The employees feel more valued and are less likely to strike or cause disruption. So for cell production, each unit, we are producing this. So we split it into different units. At the end of it all, we'll come back to producing things. But you will produce certain aspect, I'm going to produce certain aspect, you're going to produce certain aspect to make it.
Breaking it down.
Yeah, we'll break it down
Okay.
into smaller units. That is self-production.
Okay.
I think it's clear. So that's all about production and what? Inventory.
Production and yeah,
Inventory control, yeah. So we'll take method of production after this. It's because